A seismic political shift is underway here in Argentina as the far-right, radical, outsider and unknown political force Javier Milei has become elected president.
Quiero decirle a todos los argentinos que hoy comienza el fin de la decadencia argentina. Empezamos a dar vuelta a la página de nuestra historia y volvemos a retomar el camino que nunca deberíamos haber perdido. Hoy se termina la idea de que el Estado es un botín a repartirse entre los políticos y sus amigos.
Ministerio de Turismo y Deporte, afuera. Ministerio de Cultura, afuera. Ministerio de Ambiente y Desarrollo Sostenible, afuera. Ministerio de las Mujeres y Género y Diversidad, afuera. Ministerio de Obras Públicas, afuera. Aunque te resistas. Vamos a seguir por acá. Ministerio de Ciencia y Tecnología e Innovación. Algo bien del sector privado. Nada bueno salió del sector público. ¡Afuera! Ministerio de Trabajo, Empleo y Seguridad Social. ¡Afuera! Ministerio de Educación. Adoctrinamiento. ¡Afuera!
The global fall of socialist ideas has begun with the recent elections in Argentina. The people in Argentina have clearly said no more to shaky leftist or socialist policies. In a clear move, the public has chosen Javier Milei, described as a right-wing populist and anarcho-capitalist, as their new president. Javier has promised to fix rising inflation and help the people by eliminating the country's ineffective central bank and by replacing the Argentinian peso with the more stable U.S. dollar. His main goal is to put an end to the false hope given by socialist policies of the woke and so-called social justice advocates. With other socialists and leftists feeling threatened, this win in Argentina is bad news for Justin Trudeau, as he knows his time to step down is approaching. In today's video, we'll discuss the changing landscape of freedom in Argentina under its new leader and whether this could be a source of hope for Canada. Argentina didn't always face such economic challenges that it is facing today. At present, annual inflation in the country is over 140% and is expected to reach 200% by early next year. 4 in 10 Argentinians live in poverty. Public debt is 90% of GDP and the fiscal deficit is about 10% of GDP. But in the early 20th century, it ranked 10th among the world's richest nations, and people globally would often say, "We want to be as rich as Argentina." Most of the wealth of Argentina at that time came from the Pampas, a vast region that produced huge amounts of wheat, corn, wine, and beef. This abundance attracted investments and settlers from across the globe. It was a great time, much like what Canada once enjoyed: a comfortable life, a safe home, and a comfortable life with family without worrying about homelessness, crime, or job losses. This was Argentina back then. However, Argentinians then desired what they called a change and wanted to experiment with progressive socialist politics, much like Canadians did 8 years ago when Trudeau came to power. This shift was notably seen after World War II, particularly under the leadership of Juan Domingo Perón, who was elected president in 1946. Perón laid the groundwork for Peronism, a political movement in Argentina that leans towards labor and the left. Peronism advocated for social justice, aiming to enhance the lives of the working people and improve the quality of people's life by so-called social security policies. But unfortunately, it seemed to be a big lie for the Argentinians. Presently, Argentine politics still bear a strong imprint of Perón's legacy, with Peronists dominating the political landscape for the majority of the past 2 decades. And now the people of Argentina, especially the youth, have grown tired of the empty promises and letdowns from the socialist government. They wanted a leader who would be upfront and make real changes. When the presidential elections came in November, there was a clear sense of things shifting. Javier Milei, an outsider with bold ideas and an honest way of talking, became the new leader. In the final count, Mr. Milei had about 56%, beating his left-wing rival Sergio Massa with 44%. The election results shocked the political establishment, especially the so-called liberal media, who called it a political earthquake. They called him a madman, showing how they couldn't grasp the public's desire for a big change. Milei, a seasoned economist, didn't waste any time. He has promised to tackle Argentina's Argentina's high inflation by using the US dollar, getting rid of the peso, and getting rid of the central bank. His economic plans also include cutting back on welfare, making government ministries more efficient, selling off state-owned businesses, and making gun laws less strict. On social issues, Milei said he would undo the legalization of abortion and allow the sale of human organs. While Milei's ideas might seem extreme to some, they show a strong effort to rescue Argentina from its economic problems. He's not afraid to challenge the usual way of doing things, and his strong commitment to his people's well-being is clear in his no-nonsense approach. On the other hand, many leaders in Canada, especially the liberal ones, seem more focused on pleasing identity politics and supporting woke culture than dealing with the pressing economic issues their citizens face. They seem out of touch with the real problems of the working class and have failed to provide the leadership that's urgently needed. A key part of Javier's plan involves cutting expenses. In Argentina, the government spending is excessive. Around 30% of the overall economy comes from government spending in recent years. This high spending is because of a few things like social welfare programs. Argentina has a big social welfare system giving pensions, unemployment benefits, and healthcare. These programs aim to help the most vulnerable people, but they also cost the government a lot. There are also big subsidies and controls on prices that add to the spending. Javier Milei wants to reduce these costs. Canada can pick up a lesson from this by also cutting costs. However, it looks like the government is spending so much that even if they won the lottery every day, they wouldn't be able to pay off their debt. They just spend more. For example, Trudeau has introduced a more generous Canada Child Benefit, made a national child care program, increased payments for impoverished seniors through guaranteed income supplement, raised old age security payouts for some elderly, and spent tens of billions of dollars on indigenous programs. The government has also resettled tens of thousands of refugees and introduced a new Canada Workers' Benefit for low-wage people, among other measures. But considering Canada has many basic issues like inflation and the high cost of living, spending so much on immigrants at the expense of locals needs to be reduced. Javier Milei also aims to reduce additional taxes to reduce the public struggle with back-breaking inflation. Canada should take note of these lessons, but it seems that in Canada, nearly half of one's earnings are taken by the Liberal government. So in times when income inequality is on the rise, a fairer taxation system should be put in place. Javier also advocates streamlining federal ministries and transforming public education and healthcare by introducing vouchers and private insurance. In terms of ministries, he has pledged to remove several during his campaign. Additionally, Milei has embarked on a cultural battle against feminism and socialism, vowing to close the Ministry of Women, Gender, and Diversity. He plans to eliminate sex education in schools and let the public vote on overturning the 2020 law allowing abortion. Canada should consider trimming its own surplus ministries to cut government spending, and it's essential not to engage in cancel culture if someone suggests it. Preserving everyone's freedom means allowing open discussions on these matters. Overall, the global political landscape is witnessing a shift away from socialist ideologies and idealized notions of equality and justice. Recent events in various parts of the world reflect a changing sentiment. In New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern, a close ally of Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, was forced to step down from her position amid mounting criticism over her handling of the country's economy and social issues. Similarly, in Italy and other parts of Europe, there has been a growing backlash against left-wing policies, with many calling for a return to more conservative and market-oriented approaches. In Canada, the popularity of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau appears to be waning, with many Canadians questioning his leadership and the effectiveness of his progressive policies. The rise of Milei and other electoral defeats of other progressive leaders suggest that a shift in the political pendulum may be underway, with a greater emphasis on economic freedom, individual responsibility, and cultural identity. For those seeking to shape Canada's future, it would be wise to consider Milei's policies as a potential framework for economic and social progress. By reducing taxes, streamlining government bureaucracy, and fostering a vibrant private sector, Canada can create an environment that empowers individuals and promotes economic prosperity. If Canada does not take note of Argentina's economic problems and start using sensible fiscal rules, it could plunge into a spiral of economic instability and social disorder, similar to what Argentina has experienced over the last few decades. The specter of Argentina's uncontrolled inflation, growing poverty, and staggering debt-to-GDP ratio may soon loom over Canada's future if no no major action is taken. Is Canada doomed to repeat the mistakes that Argentina made? Or is there a new hope on the rise for Canada? Only time will tell. If you like this video and want to learn more about one of the reasons Canada is considering universal basic income, check out this video here. And if this video brought value to you, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing the video. Thanks for watching.